Thus far in the ACC in 2021, it's about adjustments. And that's what we have tonight as the Louisville Cardinals come to Clemson on short notice to face off against the Tigers. Number 25, Louisville, coming off a terrific win versus Duke on Saturday, while Clemson is looking to regroup on their home court as they've hit a rough stretch in ACC play. It's late night hoops at Littlejohn Coliseum as the Cards and the Tigers face off right now. This is ACC College Hoops from Clemson, South Carolina. The number 25 team in the nation is at Littlejohn Coliseum. The Louisville Cardinals and the Clemson Tigers, their only scheduled meeting of the season. And tonight's game is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. And it is so great to have you with us for our game tonight. Tom Wormy along with Dan Bonner from our perch high above the court here at Littlejohn Coliseum. And tonight, Dan, I think is a perfect example of how the season has gone. Louisville wasn't even supposed to be the opponent tonight for these Clemson Tigers.
Well, you certainly have to be flexible, Tom. And people talk about adapt, improvise, and overcome. That's what all these teams have had to do all year long. And for the Clemson Tigers, they really have to try to get back on track.
And they're going to have to watch Carlik Jones as well. What an addition he has been to this team as a graduate transfer. He plays with poise. He plays with confidence. You can see what he's done this season. He's the leader in minutes played, third in the conference in scoring and assists. And Dan, he is the linchpin for this offense for Louisville this year for Chris Mack.
Tom, without any question, and the thing that Carlik Jones does is he's able to get into the lane and break down the defense. And the great thing about him is it's hard to speed him up. He plays at his own pace. It's the Goldilocks pace. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's just right. And when he gets in the middle of your defense, you're in big trouble.
Big trouble kind of defines the last three games for the Clemson Tigers. Dan, they've lost all those games in conference, and that was after starting the season 9-1 on the year for Brad Brownell's team.
Clemson has some very good wins on the season, but they've hit a little bump in the road. Well, maybe a big bump in the road. And keep in mind that they lost to three teams that are playing very, very well. You can see their defense hasn't been really good. They've been giving up some easy shots, but I think one of the keys for Clemson is they've got to start making some baskets. That'll help their defense.
But remember what they did last year on this floor. A highly ranked Louisville team came to Littlejohn Coliseum and left with the L. Tigers got the W. Can they do it for the second straight year? We'll come back with the lineups to tip. Clemson and Louisville, ACC College Hoops. Moments away from the start of ACC basketball. Cards and Tigers in the 11th all-time meeting between the programs. They split the games a season ago. The Toyota starting lineup for the Louisville Cardinals. We told you about Carlik Jones, but how about the guy right next to him? David Johnson, double-digit score, 6 rebounds per game, shoots 44% from the floor for the sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky. Toyota starting lineup for the Clemson Tigers. Amir Sims, big number 25, and the senior. Leads him in scoring and rebounding, but he struggled in the game at Florida State, the most recent game for the Tigers. Had just 5 points and only hoisted 3 shots and made one of them in 25 minutes of action. So the Tigers, as Dan mentioned at the top of the broadcast, have played some stiff competition in those last 3 games, but all losses. And they do spread the minutes around, and they try to get to the bench and get help that way also. But because of those 3 losses, the record has dropped to 9-4 and 3-4 in conference play. They've been successful at home, though, 5-1 on the season here on the court at Littlejohn Coliseum. For the Cardinals, number 25, breaking into the top 25 for Chris Mack. And look at that consistency, 11 straight years getting to double-digit wins against just 3 losses early in the season. And when they hit the glass, they have the advantage, haven't lost this season, winning the rebounding battle. All right, it's now time for the 4 keys to the game with Dan Bonner.
Well, one of the things we talked about with the Louisville Cardinals, they're at their best when Carlik Jones is breaking down the defense. They've got to get in the middle to do damage. They're not a great three-point shooting team. And for the Clemson Tigers, they've got to shoot the ball better. Yes, they have to improve their defense. Yes, they'd like to generate some turnovers, but they've got to put the ball in the basket. That's been one of their biggest problems.
Yeah, the Tigers 42% shooting as a team this season, bottom of the conference in the ACC. And the Cards will start with the first possession.
And Clemson starts in the man-to-man.
Jones on the handle. Shot clock's inside of 10. Strong D on this first possession by the Tigers. That one's knocked away in traffic. And even though Sims came up with it, I don't believe that ball hit the rim, Dan, so they were headed towards a shot clock violation either way.
And then Louisville drops back, and they play man-to-man as well.
This is Newman. Got in a little bit of trouble in the lane. Safety valve to trap.
And Newman's a guy who has struggled early. He's struggled with some injury issues. He got contact trace. I hope he's just rounding into form now.
Underneath, up and under, and that was Sims finding his teammate Hunter Tyson, who gets the start tonight in place of Jonathan Baird with the first two.
Now, Sims is a tremendous passer. I actually thought that had he turned quickly there, he would have been able to score. But that's a great pass.
Cardinals beat Duke on Saturday at home, KFC Yum Center, 70-65, and shot 46% of that winning effort. On the weak side, and now trap. Slazinski tried the shot out of the corner for the Cards. Tigers last game Saturday at Florida State, an 80-61 loss. This is Sims with the touch.
He is a very tough matchup. You notice Louisville didn't try to double team him because he is such a good passer. And how about that little jump hook with the left hand?
That's why he's shooting 53% on the season and scoring almost 12 points per game. But there's Jones, third leading scorer in the conference.
It's exactly what he does. He just takes you, he beats you off the dribble, he gets into the middle of the lane.
24 points in the win against Duke at home for Carlik Jones. Newman was spinning in the lane, had it stripped away. Cardinals run it up with Johnson. Jones is the graduate transfer from Radford. Slazinski from the corner. This time, it's money for three.
Now, Slazinski is the guy who can shoot the three. Not a great percentage on the season. He's a much better three-point shooter percentage-wise in ACC play. But if they're going to leave him open like that, he's going to have to knock him down. That's a good start.
He was just 1 of 3 on three-point attempts in the win against Duke. Second chance on the possession, and the miss on the jumper by Dawes.
And that's really been the story for the Tigers the last couple of games. Those are really good looks, but they just can't bring it, just can't catch him in.
Slazinski ran it down, set up the continuation of the possession for Jones.
Slazinski's in the lineup because he's an energy guy.
Shot clock to 5. Johnson needs to take a look at that shot clock. It's going to run out on the Cardinals.
Well, we talked about Amir Sims and the kind of damage he can do inside. The nice little assist, and then you see they don't really double team him very hard right here. And if you leave him play one-on-one, he is going to be a handful. You see Dre Davis matched up against him. That's really tough.
2 games ago at Georgia Tech, Sims had 19 points and put up 14 shots connected 9 times. So the production's been a little inconsistent, driving and scoring. Trap in a congested area.
That would really be a big help for Clemson because Trap can shoot it a little, but he's much better when he's taking the ball to the basket. Louisville is not a team with a lot of shot blockers. They do step in and try to take charges.
They try to work it inside of the paint. Don't get the bounce for Davis. They got it back. Swatted away. Sims was able to wrestle it away. Tigers basketball. Those 6 points so far for Clemson, all in the paint.
They've been having a tough time shooting it from outside the last couple games, Tom, so that's generally the clue. Get closer. Except him, he can do anything.
About 1,800 fans in the building tonight. And Sims putting on a little early show for the Tiger fans, for the senior out of Blue Ridge High School.
He's another guy that has not shot the three very well, so I'm sure he's really happy that first one went down.
Sims was 28% of the season from beyond the arc. Prior to that, make his 8th three of the year. And once again, the Cards go deep in the shot clock. Johnson, Slazinski had it poked away. but there was contact as Hunter Tyson came over to punch it out of there. Amir Sims did fantastic work on the interior and then extends the range from beyond the arc. It's 9-5. Tigers and Cards. Back inside Littlejohn Coliseum. Early minutes of our first half. The Tigers have the lead against the visiting Cardinals. Amir Sims doing it inside and doing it outside as well, Dan Bonner.
You talk to Brad Brownell, and he'll tell you that one of the problems that they've had is Amir Sims he was preseason first-team All-ACC. If Clemson's going to be really good, he's got to play like a first-team All-ACC player, and he certainly had that kind of a start here.
Yeah, he did struggle against Florida State, but only took 3 shots in that game.
Well, Florida State has like 14 Inspector Gadgets on that team. The arms just keep going, and they come after you in waves.
They also won again tonight at home against visiting Miami with Slazinski at the free throw line. That means Florida State is now 6-1 in conference play, right on the heels of the Virginia Cavaliers 7-0.
Well, Florida State had 7 guys tonight who scored at least 8 points. They just play a lot of guys. They had 2 different guys, Malik Osborne and Raycon Gray, both had double-doubles tonight. So that's a very deep team, and they're playing well at the moment.
Sims on the block, over the shoulder, soft bounce, and that one goes to Slazinski.
Well, Withers did a much better job that time. He didn't allow Dawes to turn, or excuse me, Sims to turn easily.
Johnson, the sophomore, 12 points, 8 boards in the win against Duke. And he played the entire game, 40 minutes for number 13 with the ball right now. Deep into the shot clock again. Nowhere to go for Johnson. Well guarded by Tyson. Jones did not, Dan. It's a shot clock violation.
So in the first 6 minutes of the game, we've already seen 2 shot clock violations, Tom, and 2 other times where they got the ball off just before the shot clock. This is tremendous defense by the Clemson Tigers. They are doing a great job keeping Louisville out of the lane so far. Louisville is not a great three-point shooting team. They only get about 23% of their offense from beyond the arc, so they've got to get in the middle if they're going to do some damage.
Yeah, just 33% of the season as a team from three-point land for the Cardinals. Now Sims. Nick Honor is into the game, number 4 in white. Newman, who had 23 points in the meeting between the teams last year here at Littlejohn Coliseum, a career high. Honor came up short out of the corner. It was an awkward fall for Sims, but he gets back into the play, and Johnson took a bump, but it's an offensive foul on Johnson.
Great job by Clyde Trapp to get back and get himself in position. Louisville's trying to push the ball. And that's really a tough play in transition. You got to have both feet on the floor facing the defender, and then you're allowed to move to maintain your position. Doesn't matter if you're moving when the contact occurs, as long as you establish initial guarding position, and the referee ruled that he did. Tyson is in the game to shoot the ball.
Tyson, wearing the mask, suffered a facial injury against Alabama earlier this season. It was a win for Clemson. There is Sims again scoring.
It might be a long night for Withers down on the inside if he's going to try to guard Sims one-on-one.
Cards 2 for 7 from the floor, and they've turned it over 3 times. Make it 4.
This is a tremendous defensive effort by Sims on the one end, but how about the offensive end? You look, Louisville is not trying to double team him because he is such a good passer. They don't want to give up the open jump shot, but maybe they might rethink that strategy. Clemson has not been shooting it well from the perimeter.
So Sims with 7 points to lead the way in the first half. In fact, he leads all scorers with those 7.
Well, there he is again. That time Withers did a nice job. Sims was stumbling, and Withers was able to get around in front.
Sims also 3 for 4 from the floor. That includes that 3-pointer.
There are some games where you watch Clemson play, and Sims, doesn't really spend a lot of time with his back to the basket, but there are other games, and this is one of them so far, where he's down in there all the time.
This is Newman. Bear able to grab it on the deflection. Honor teeing up a 3-ball. Trying to follow his shot, but Johnson grabbed it in the nick of time.
I think Clemson's really going to have to make some of those open jump shots. Honor is an outstanding three-point shooter, and he's missed a couple of shots where he's been all alone.
So the Cards really struggling here. Just 2 field goals made against 4 turnovers for a team that shoots 47%, 5th in the conference, as Jones grabs it near midcourt. And take a look at the shot clock again. Down to 4. Jones hoists it. Deflected. And then run down.
It's Minlin in the ball game. They're trying to work him gradually back in the lineup. They think he's really going to help them as the season goes on.
Minlin coming off a left knee injury in practice in early November, and that one's on target.
That's Minlin's first three-point basket of the season. As he missed his, just coming back from injury. So he hadn't had a lot of minutes, hadn't had a lot of opportunities, but that's the kind of thing they think he can do for him.
Yeah, first points of any kind for Minlin. And now the Cardinals race it up.
Nice job by Clemson to get back on defense. If you're going to miss those threes, generally they result in long rebounds, and so you're susceptible to transition. But here they're back and they have their defense set again.
Withers along the baseline. Shot clock again to 5. They drop it off to Withers. Lost it on the way up. An inadvertent pass and a shot that hit the rim, so the reset to 20. Johnson wasting no time. And that one is saved by Newman on the baseline.
Clemson is out here with an awful lot of energy and intensity on the defensive end.
Tigers have spent 3 weeks in the top 25 before dropping out this week. Losses at Florida State, at Georgia Tech, and prior to that against Virginia.
Well, another miss on a wide open 3.
They do have a win against Florida State this year for the Tigers. So there was some contact and a foul is called. Let's take a timeout here in Clemson, South Carolina. Littlejohn Coliseum. Cardinals and Tigers with the Tigers ahead. Midway through our first half, the Tigers have the 11-8 lead against the number 25 team in the nation, the Louisville Cardinals. They have limited Louisville to just 27% shooting, and that takes us right to CPI security, protecting the paint. And that's what the Tigers have done. A couple of shot clock violations too, Dan.
Well, and a couple of end of the shot clock forces by the Louisville Cardinals, but they've done a nice job keeping them out of the middle, and they forced 4 turnovers. That's one of them. They've been able to draw a charge in transition, so there's another turnover. And then this, again, this is with the shot clock running down, and Amir Sims, who has been so good on the offensive end. Sims with 7 of Clemson's 11 points. He tips that one away for the turnover. Louisville only shooting 27%. The problem for the Tigers, Tom, is they are only 1 for 8 from beyond the three-point arc. The Tigers are 5 for 13 overall, but only 1 for 8 from 3. And Clemson is a team on the season, 43% of their field goal attempts come from beyond the arc. But I'm telling you, with as hot as Sims has been early in the game, you need to stop shooting from outside and throw him the ball.
Although he is the one Tiger player who has made that lone three-pointer in the game. You see how that all comes together, Dan? Sims is a spectator right now in the bench area for the Tigers. That ball on the court picked up by Jones. A little bit of a leaning follow away, and he hits it so silky smooth, Dan.
Oh, smooth but strong. He put his body right into Alamir Dawes there and created some space, and there's just enough space for him to knock it down.
It was deflected away and out of bounds by the Cardinals off of J.J. Traynor.
Traynor is a young man who has been a very pleasant surprise for the Louisville Cardinals. Not that they didn't expect him to be a good player. They recruited him because they did. But he has come in and made some significant contributions, particularly on the defensive end for Louisville.
P.J. Hall is also into the game, and Chase Hunter, number 3 in white. Hall, number 24 in white. Some changes for Brad Brownell's team. Now they go deep into the shot clock. That's a 3 that rattles around for Bayer. They decided to go back to the three-point well, Dan, and they came up empty.
Again, it was a wide open shot. Bayer's only a 30% three-point shooter. And again, when you miss the three-point shot, it creates most of the time a long rebound, and that makes it hard for you to get back and set your defense. And so Sam Williamson scores there in a transition situation before Clemson is really able to set the defense.
6 points, 7 boards, 21 minutes off the bench, and the win against Duke for Williamson. That's a 3. Knocking it down, Dawes.
And that's about the toughest three-point opportunity they've had. Carlik Jones was not in bad defensive position.
Nobody shoots more threes on this Clemson roster than Alamir Dawes, a sophomore from Newark, New Jersey. Despite that bucket, 7-2 run over the last 2:45 for Louisville. Shot clock down to 4. Williamson cut off. They go inside, well defended by Hall, and that's going to be another shot clock violation.
That's 3 shot clock violations in the game. Carlik Jones is right there defensively, but again, that's the toughest three-point opportunity they've had. Maybe that's the key. They need him contested.
Have a little defense out there. Although it did not work on that 3 by Dawes, who averages just over 8 points per game. 5 turnovers now for Louisville in this first half. One too many moves by Johnny Newman. 2-point game. Great looking first half between the Tigers and the Cardinals. We're glad that you're with us here in Clemson, South Carolina.
ACC Hoops is brought to you by the Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Step into the future of lawn care and check mowing off your to-do list for good. Available at mylandroid.com. CPI Security. And Honda Dealers of the Carolinas.
A lot of success in that facility just down the road, Memorial Stadium, and all the way to the college football playoff once again for the Clemson Tigers. We've got a 2-point game on the basketball court tonight. And that takes us right to our Honda startup. Dan, we've got some quick stats from the first half.
It's interesting. We thought one of the things that Louisville was going to have to do was get in the lane, but they've scored no points in there. Clemson 2 for 10 from beyond the three-point arc. You can see they've only got 15 field goal attempts, and 10 of them are from beyond the arc. That's a little bit of a big number, I think.
Sims returning for the Clemson Tigers. 7 points for Sims.
One of the problems that Sims has sometimes is he tends to get into foul trouble, but this might be a game where he has a little bit more luck with that because they're really not going to attack him with Withers. Withers isn't that kind of player.
It's a long 3-ball, a little bit too strong from Chase Hunter.
Again, another 3. 16 field goal attempts for the Tigers, 11 of them from beyond the arc.
And 2 of 11 from three-point distance for the Tigers. Dawes and Sims have those threes. Offensive glass. We'll get a second chance at it. How about a third chance? That spins off the rim, and Trapp ended up with it. Johnson stepping in the passing lane. The anticipation. Slazinski trying to join him. There's a trailer, and there's a foul. Trailer was Trainer, and he got fouled on the way up by Chase Hunter.
Boy, Louisville doing a great job on the offensive boards, and Trapp just trying to come out of there a little too fast. He wasn't paying enough attention. We talked about Trainer and all the good things he's done. One of the things, he runs very well. That's what you want your big guy to do. You get the ball, he runs to the basket.
And now a message from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
And with that free throw, we're tied at 14. So the Cards, despite some early struggles offensively, up to 29% shooting as a team.
With Trainer now in the ball game, he's guarding Sims inside, and he's guarding him very aggressively, although he lost him right there.
Sims sent that right back out for the three-pointer, and it's good from Tyson.
That's why you can't double team him. He does a great job seeing his teammates.
5 points for Hunter Tyson, just about on his average for the season, of 5.5 points per game for the junior from Monroe, North Carolina. Mid-air defense by Tyson. Looking for transition. Dawes pulling up. Coming up short. Open man underneath. Tigers got back. And a foul was called.
I think Dawes committed the foul. When the ball goes into Sims, that time the defense collapsed on him. He had 3 guys around him, and he was able to find Tyson wide open in the corner. He is simply a great passer.
So Dawes picked up the foul. Trainer's at the free throw line. 63% on the season for the freshman from Bardstown, Kentucky. Some substitutions. Notably, Jones is back in. Just coming into your picture right now. Joining the rest of the players in the lane with Trainer at the free throw line. Trainer did not score in the win against Duke at home as Hall came down with it. Eleventh all-time meeting. Cardinals lead the series 7-3. Clemson leads here in Littlejohn Coliseum 3-1. Shot clock down to 6. Jones trying to loop that one in. Working on the baseline. Nickelberry fenced off. And to send it back out for 3, and J.J. Trainer on target. So Trainer not necessarily known as a three-point shooter, Dan. 3 of 7 coming into the night on three-point attempts. And we got a timeout by Brad Brownell and the Tigers.
This is a situation where you're so conscious of keeping them out of the lane. You get the double team on the inside. And Trainer, you mentioned he doesn't take a lot of threes, but he shoots a fairly nice percentage. That's his first three-point basket in ACC play.
And Louisville now 3 of 8 on three-point attempts, and most importantly, they're in front now by a point with 5.5 minutes to go in our first half.
Well, I think the biggest story of the game so far is that the Clemson Tigers have attempted 19 field goals. 14 of them are from beyond the arc. And that's fine if you're making them from beyond the arc, but they're only 3 of 14.
Dan, they average about 8 made threes per game. That ranks 10th in the ACC overall, if you're looking at it from a three-point perspective.
And again, they get 35% of their offense from beyond the three-point arc, but when the ball's not going in the basket from 3, you get closer, and that's something they haven't been able to do.
I've heard you mention that in the past, Dan. Simple strategy, sounds like, although they fumbled this one out of bounds in front of the Louisville bench. And now the Tigers, who did not get a shot opportunity in that possession, 2 of their last 10 in field goals, and Hunter will exit the ball game. Newman replaces Hunter in that lineup.
Well, so far in the ball game, the Clemson Tigers have done a nice job taking care of the basketball. That's only their 2nd turnover. But in a situation where you're relying on your defense, where you're struggling to shoot the ball, you just simply cannot give your opponent extra opportunities.
Williamson. Now Johnson. Newman guards him. That shot. Jalen Withers. First 2 of the game for Withers. Face up Jay.
Well, Withers is a guy who can shoot it a little bit facing up. He's had some interesting offensive games, some big offensive games for Louisville so far. He can put some pressure on Sims.
Withers is a double-digit scorer, almost 11 points per game this season. That pass by Newman is intercepted. And give credit for this Louisville team. They took this game on short notice. In fact, this game in particular was scheduled for early March. Louisville had a chance to play today because they will not play at home on Saturday against Boston College. Boston College in the COVID protocols. Coach Barnell wanted to travel on Carlik Jones. There's 10 seconds left on the shot clock and 4:17 on the game clock.
Talked about how one of the most important things for Clemson would be to keep Jones from out of the lane, and they're really doing a great job. Every time he turns the corner, there's somebody standing right in front of him.
Jones has 4 points in the game on 2 of 3 shooting. He's missed his only 3-point attempts. Number 1 in black. That one nearly knocked away from Johnson. Recovers. Shot clock down to 2, and that one will be taken underneath the basket.
But the only reason that wasn't a shot clock violation was that Clemson had their hands on the ball.
So the Tigers as a team, 37% from the floor, but as Dan mentioned, 3 of 13 on 3-point attempts.
They're being much more aggressive against Amir Sims on the inside.
Well, they only made 3 3-pointers in the loss of Florida State. A little bit better, but the Cards have come to play tonight here in Clemson, South Carolina. Carlik Jones and the Cards up by 3 late in our first half. The grad transfer from Radford University in Virginia is known for his heroics. He did it his freshman year in a title game in the Big South Conference.
Gotta go. Jones for the win.
Carlik Jones, the freshman. Just a sign of things to come in his incredible career, Dan.
Well, he was the freshman of the year in the Big South. He was the player of the year in the Big South last year.
You'd have to say he's in the conversation, Dan, at this point.
He certainly is in the conversation
For this year in the ACC.
For the player of the year in the ACC, and I just wonder.
What do you wonder, Dan?
I wonder how many people have ever been the player of the year in 2 separate college basketball conferences. I know that Frank Robinson was the MVP in both the American League and the National League Baseball, but I don't know of anybody who's been the player of the year in 2 separate conferences.
But you will find out very soon, Dan, because of the miracle of social media. If, in fact, that is the case, as Bear got the feed from Sims.
What, that social media is a miracle? Or?
Well,
okay.
The miracle of technology in general, Dan.
Okay.
You know, honestly, Dan, to that point, the fact that we are here right now doing the game in this building is a credit to so many women and men who work so hard on our production crew and all the folks who make this happen in the television trucks and behind the cameras and sound and pictures, and so much goes into this.
Great job by Clemson to get the ball inside. Don't want to settle for those 3-point shots. And here, Slazinski is trying to match up against Sims now, and they're trying to be very physical with Amir Sims. That time, Slazinski got caught. But early in the game, we showed you a couple replays where they were sort of letting Sims operate down there. Well, they changed that strategy because Sims really got off to a hot start.
Slazinski to the bench. Sims with 7 points. Has been stuck on that number a little bit. Here's Newman, a catch and release. In rhythm for Johnny Newman.
Boy, it really helped the Tigers if Newman can get rolling offensively.
I thought you were going to say if Newman delivers, that would really help the Tigers. Either way, Dan, his offensive production will certainly be a critical point. And how about the rebound from Newman, but the poor outlet pass, and Johnson intercepts. Johnson trying to work on Newman. Got the help D taken away. Dawes came in.
Clemson's defense has been outstanding. Hasn't been perfect, but I think there's very little that Brad Brownell can complain about. Defensively, they've really been good.
They are second in the conference in scoring defense. Only allowed just over 63 points per game. That shot misses the intended target from Dawes.
Again, they're having such poor success from beyond the 3-point arc. I think you need to try to get the ball inside first.
So Dawes is now 1 of 3 in 3-point chances, 3 of 14 as a team for the Tigers, and they do have the 1-point lead. Closely contested matchup, just the 11th all-time meeting. Shot clock is at 10 for Johnson with a crossover. That's over Bear, but not strong enough.
That's really good defense by Bear to move his feet and stay in front of the smaller, quicker player.
Newman had those career-high 23 points in the win last year on this court against the Cardinals. That's old school from Sims going across the lane, but did not get the bounce.
Good physical defense by Withers.
Williamson, quick little pass. Withers flicks it out to Jones. Bear trying to go up over Midland, out of bounds in Tiger basketball.
I know he's passing it outside to Carlik Jones, but Withers was 2 feet from the basket. I think he needs to try to power that one up to the goal.
So Nickelberry came back in. Coming up on the Toyota halftime report, look back at the legacy of ACC Commissioner John Swofford. He'll be retiring at the end of the season after 24 years. We're going to break down the first half also between Louisville and Clemson. You want to stick around for that. We congratulate John Swofford and his impact on this conference over the last quarter century and beyond as the administrator at North Carolina and a student athlete. Football for the Tar Heels. Tyson launching a three. Said that a few times tonight, Dan.
What you haven't said is the ball goes in the basket from three.
There's a chance for Louisville at the other end for a three from Nickelberry, so he misfires as well.
Boy, Louisville really working hard to keep the ball out of the hands of Sims inside.
Stolen. Jones was running down the court and got bumped. Well, he and his teammates are on a scoring drought of 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
Well, now, if you can be on a scoring drought of 4 minutes and 25 seconds and you're still only behind by a point, not the worst thing in the world.
Again, the Tigers 3 of 15 from three-point distance. The Cardinals 3 of 11 from three-point distance. Trapp picked up his first personal.
Louisville shooting under 30% overall. That'll help him.
Williamson.
Williamson is so good in the mid-range.
4 points for Williamson. Look at the clock, Dan. We've only got 10 seconds to go in this first half. Clock now down to 2. This is Trapp. Guess what that was, Dan? A three, and it did not fall. The good news for both teams is they're in it. And Chris Mack has the lead at halftime. They've been strong with the lead at halftime. We'll talk about that and so much more. The halftime report is straight ahead from Littlejohn Coliseum in Clemson, South Carolina. This is ACC basketball.
ACC Hoops is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We resolve to help North Carolina stay healthy. Your local Ford dealer. And Continental Tire for what you do.
Littlejohn Coliseum opened up back in 1968. Normally, you hope it's filled to the rafters, about 9,000 folks, but tonight we've got about 1,800. Glad that you're with us for the second half of ACC basketball. The Clemson Tigers, the Louisville Cardinals. Tom Wormy, Dan Bonner, and our outstanding ACC College Hoops production crew with you from Clemson, South Carolina. 1 point game. Sims led the way with 7, but they came in the first 7 minutes of the first half, poked away and stolen. Cards on the run, second effort, and it'll fall as Davis stayed with it.
Boy, he sure did stay with it. I don't know how he hung on to the ball, much less get it up to the basket. That is quite the play. Nice defensive job by Withers, using his quickness that time to take the ball away from Sims.
Tyson misses the 3. Up ahead, Slazinski's running the floor. And despite the fact that contact was made, the ball went through the net. Score the bucket, Slazinski.
That's another situation, Tom, where when you take that 3 and you miss it and you get the long rebound, that sometimes you get runouts.
So the Tigers now 3 of 17 on three-point attempts. So the struggles continue, although that will help. Dawes Dawes. Long-range 3-ball.
And it's no coincidence that that all started by putting the ball in the hands of Sims. Gets the ball, moves it quickly, and that creates an opening.
Slozinski thought about 3, escape dribble. Misses the shot. Tyson runs it down. Trapp does not have the numerical advantage.
Well, I think Louisville doing a great job getting back defensively. They haven't given Clemson anything easy.
Dawes on the baseline. Little bit of touch, Dan.
Dawes has really struggled over the last 3 games, and so I'm sure Clemson faithful are very happy to see him get going offensively.
It's 8 points now for Dawes, right on his season average, and more importantly, he has tied this game at 26 after trailing 22-21 at halftime. Shot clock's down to 7. The drive from Jones. Tapped around, trying to run it down. It was Tyson for the Tigers, and Withers was the player who hit the floor for the Cards.
This is a great job to get the ball out by Sims. Really nice pass. Nice pass then by Newman. Dawes gets the open 3, and now here Dawes, this is something that he hasn't done very much of lately. He can be pretty good off the dribble. He just drove Slozinski back and created some space for himself. He's been struggling with a little bit of a groin injury. Brad Brownell told us that he's getting back to full strength.
So Tyson picked up that previous foul for the Clemson Tigers, the second for Hunter Tyson. They'll go out to Jones, and he will nail it. 3-pointer, Carlik Jones.
Jones is not a guy who forces anything. He just lets the game come to him.
So 7 points for Jones. And his first points in the second half. Newman. From the weak side, it's Jones.
I just don't think you should be shooting the ball without letting Amir Sims at least touch it.
Jones. Slozinski. Got it right back. They work the perimeter. Jones stepping into a 3. Halfway down and out. Slozinski had it for a moment. Newman got tangled up inside. Looked like he got tangled up with Drake Davis.
Well, Drake Davis is an outstanding offensive rebounder. Missed the kick out Davis that time with a nice pass. And Carlik Jones, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's more than adequate, particularly when you give him that much time.
Newman picked up the foul for Clemson. First for John Newman. Davis. Run down by Chase Hunter.
You know, Davis will shoot it from out there, but he's not a particularly high percentage shooter. Dawes feeling it now.
That percentage going up for the Tigers as Dawes connects on another 3. Double digits for Dawes. He's up to 10 points after that 3-point basket.
And he's also been doing an outstanding job against Carlik Jones on the defensive end of the court. He's had a lot of help. And he's done a nice job staying in front of Jones for the most part.
Double digits for the 8th time this season for Dawes. He's got 3 threes in the game. At the other end, it's Johnson.
And Johnson is so tough when he can get into the lane. He does a great job playing with his back to the basket, and he can really score inside.
Mentioned Dawes is 3 for 5 on 3-pointers. That 3 misses from Hunter. Fight for the loose ball. Sims ended up on the floor for the Tigers. So David Johnson working in the paint and scoring. This is a close ball game. Louisville has a slim lead. Cards up 31-29 despite Oliver Dawes scoring 7 of the last 7 of his 10 points in this second half. Around the league, Dan, and Florida State's posted another win. Virginia Tech gets a victory in their late NC State and Wake.
Well, Wake Forest, you know, they won the game against Pitt the other night, making all those threes. They weren't able to make the threes tonight.
Good response by Virginia Tech after losing at the Carrier Dome on Saturday.
Well, absolutely. You see Virginia Tech, they're still sitting there at 3rd place in the league. Louisville's got to win today to keep up with them. And there's North Carolina starting to make a little bit of a move in the standings.
Their next game will be on Tuesday right here at Littlejohn Coliseum, and the Tar Heels have won 6 of the last 7. Virginia undefeated in conference play. Florida State, by the way, has now won 22 in a row at home in the ACC. And Virginia Tech got its win without Tyrese Radford. He is suspended for the moment for the Virginia Tech program. So you're all caught up around the league. Tigers with the basketball. Going to work that baseline out to Trapp, lining up a 3-ball. Miss from Trapp, rebound from Withers. Long rebound, Dawes. Stops. Comes up short on a 3 attempt.
One of the very few transition opportunities the Tigers have had today.
Jones trying to work it out of that corner against 2 defenders. You want to stay tuned for the fast break presented by your local Ford dealer that's coming up in our second half. And this game continues to be closely contested between Louisville and Clemson. As we mentioned, they played twice last year, and each team won on its home floor. Tigers defeated number 6 Louisville last year in that meeting here at Littlejohn Coliseum. Trapp picked up the last foul for Clemson. Sims tried to recover on the driving Withers, but clipped him on the arm.
And we mentioned that Withers has been having, at least early in the game, had a tough time guarding Sims, but he's got the ability to get around Sims, use his quickness as he did right there.
And before we proceed, a word from Coyote Tractor.
Not a single tractor ever been built that's better equipped to do the dirty work. Coyote, we dig dirt.
Withers misses them both as a 71% free throw shooter, and that ball is off of the Cardinals and to the Tigers. So a chance to tie or go ahead with a 3. They have not been bashful about launching 3 balls tonight. Clemson 5 of 23 from 3-point real estate. Inside, Sims got the defender in the air, came up short and followed up.
When Sims can get the ball in there and when they give him enough time to dribble, he has been very tough. Actually, a nice job by Withers on the first shot, but Sims bouncing right back up and getting the second one.
9 points. Amir Sims. Dawes leads the way with 11. The other end of the floor for the Cardinals as Bear grabs it. Jones leads the way with 7 points. 8 different Cardinals have scored. Dawes stepping back. Johnson had the box out and board and up to Jones. Jones, little dribbling clinic, trying to get free. Knocked away, quick hand from Bear. Chase Hunter. Contact from Jones, who was going for the steal.
We talked about the fact that Amir Sims scored 7 points in the first 7 minutes of the game. We haven't heard from him offensively since. This is a really nice move that he makes, and he knows that he get left it short. And watch how he just goes right back after it. Withers didn't block him out. Withers, instead of turning, put a body on him and then going to the board. Withers went straight to the basket, and Sims made him pay for it.
4 of 7 shooting for Amir Sims, and that includes making his lone 3-point attempt back in the first half. 1-point game at halftime. Louisville had the lead. Sims for 3. Slightly offline, and Jones. Nick Honor tries to race up with Jones. Bear tries to help him. Minland, 21 in black and red, is in there as well. He's in that corner to your right on the screen. Shot clock at 10 on the drive. Johnson put on the brakes and traveled.
Again, the Clemson defense doing a fabulous job preventing Louisville from taking the ball and driving it into the middle. They've kept Carlik Jones out. Now they've got 4 guys surrounding David Johnson, and he just can't keep that pivot foot.
Tied at 31 with the Tigers trying to snap a 3-game losing streak.
And Carlik Jones exits the game for a little breather. That's something you don't see very often.
Don't forget about Dre Davis back into the lineup for Louisville. And Jones, who leads the conference in minutes played, over 37 per game. In fact, he's played the entire game, 2 of the last 3. And includes the win against Duke for Jones getting a breather. Nick Honor's in there, number 4 in white. Got it back.
He stepped on the line.
He did. Officials all over it. Keith Kimball, Kip Kissinger, Lamar Simpson officiating our game tonight, and that is the 8th turnover of the ball game from Clemson.
Now, Clemson's turned it over 8 times. They've given up 8 offensive rebounds, and yet their defense has been good enough that it's a tie game. And the Louisville defense, as we said, has not been too shabby either.
Louisville, one of the top 3-point defensive teams in the league. They only allow 32% to the opposition, 4th in the conference. And they've kept the Tigers at bay from beyond the arc for the better part of this game.
The Tigers are only shooting 20% from out there.
Johnson with a runner. P.J. Hall stretching out for the board, and now Honor.
Well, that's really a good rebound.
Nick Honor, transferred from Fordham. Redshirt sophomore with the basketball. From Orlando, Florida. Alex Hemingway is also into the game. He's got the ball right now. He wants that 3. Cannot connect.
Now, Hemingway, that's his reputation as a shooter.
Midland. Hemingway grabs the rebound, runs it up. Tries to go Euro around the defender. And a foul is called. That was Charles Midland back defending for Louisville on the drive by Hemingway.
It's really a good outlet pass that gets this break going, and Hemingway just sees an opportunity. I think he went in there looking for the foul, but again, very, very few transition opportunities for Clemson tonight. Nice job by the Tigers to take advantage of that one.
First miss of the season from the line for Alex Hemingway. He had been 8 of 8. That's why I didn't mention it before he took the free throw, Dan. I didn't want to.
I really don't think that makes it.
I didn't want to garner any sort of responsibility for that miss. So Jones re-enters the lineup. Hemingway did not score in 9 minutes off the bench against Florida State.
Those were the first 2 Clemson free throws of the night.
Jones into traffic.
Clemson has done a nice job bringing the traffic when Jones tries to get into the lane.
Williamson pops on the baseline. And it's going to be a foul against the Tigers. The shot from Williamson. So we'll sort it out when we come back. It's a 1-point game in Clemson, South Carolina. Tigers by the slimmest of margins, 32-31 after trailing by 1 at halftime. 11:39 to go in our second half. And across the way, this Louisville Cardinal program, Dan, in some elite company.
It's been a great program for a long, long time. And one of the interesting things you see there in this season where you've had cancellations, you have fewer games. Look at the Duke Blue Devils there. Here they are with that streak, sitting with 6 wins here at the end of January. They've got a lot of ground to make up and not very much time to do it.
Duke was the last victory for this Louisville program on Saturday at home against the Blue Devils, 70-65. They held them to their lowest offensive output of the season, those 65 points for Chris Mack. And last year they were 24-7 and had a final national rank of 14 a season ago.
Well, this is a very good defensive team. You know, we've been talking about the Clemson defense, but the Louisville defense has been outstanding as well, particularly their ability to limit what the Tigers have been able to do from beyond the arc. Tigers only shooting 19% from three-point range. And lots of times you think, okay, I've got this open shot, and it's really not the best shot. Louisville packing it in. Maybe they're Clemson shooting the ball from one step further away than they really should be.
Williamson miss on the second as a 75% free throw shooter. A couple of players take a tumble.
And the point that I'm making, Tom, is you can't say that Clemson shooting the ball that poorly from three, they're missing a lot of open shots. Well, maybe they're open for a reason. And so Louisville, I think, doing a really nice job on the defensive end, limiting the opportunities where the Tigers have the best chance to score.
Davis picked up the foul for Louisville.
Davis is very aggressive.
Another whistle.
I think that's Nickelberry picking up the foul. Nickelberry's a guy who's struggled with some injury problems. They'd really like him to be healthy. You know, they're not a great three-point shooting team, but he can be a very good three-point shooter. It would really help him.
Just 22% from beyond the arc on the season for Nickelberry, seeing action in his 8th game this season. Hall needs a safety valve. Bear wanted it. Cross it over in front of Williamson. It's a tough one to thread through a lot of arms to get by with that pass.
And particularly when you're off balance and you're almost at the point where you're going to commit a traveling violation.
We'll say the Tigers have done a good job on this guy, Dan. 7 points tonight. He had 24 in the win against Duke on Saturday for Carlik Jones. Works the shot clock down to 10. Hall had it for a moment, and Davis fought for it again, preserving the possession. A missed three-pointer.
That's the other thing. The Cardinals have gotten some offensive rebounds, but they really haven't been able to convert at the rate that they would like.
4 of 18 in threes for the Cards after the Nickelberry miss on the previous possession. Bear slashing to the rim, had it knocked away, and a foul is called. Again, Davis in the vicinity and whistled for the infraction.
Well, this is a really nice job by Clyde Trapp to drive into the lane. I think when Chris Mack looks at the tape of the game, he's going to ask his guys, why didn't anybody step in to draw a charge against Clyde Trapp, who went flying through the lane.
Second foul on Davis. Bear at the free throw line. He's got 2 points. First trip to the line. And while we have a moment, let's get a message from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
Bear did not get the start tonight because of a foot injury sustained on Monday, but appears to be back to near capacity. Gets the work done at the free throw line and then gets a breather as Hunter Tyson will replace him. 6'10" senior Jonathan Bear leaves the lineup. Dan, I think we might be going right down to the wire tonight. Just a guess.
Well, you get the idea. If one of these teams can go on a little bit of an offensive spurt, it might put it out of reach for the other one because both are struggling offensively tonight.
Jones has to reset it. Tries the entry pass. Hemingway with the quick hands and the steal. Tigers just one of their last 8 field goal attempts. Cards have missed their last 6 from the floor. Hemingway got the defender in the air. This is for 3. Sims offensive glass. Amongst several defenders, he hit the deck. Ball went out of bounds.
Well, it's a rather small lineup in the game, or was, for Louisville. It's now Withers comes back in, and I'm surprised Clemson didn't try to get Sims the ball, but since they didn't get it to him, he goes and gets it himself, although he had that one blocked.
Largest lead of the game for the Tigers, 6. Largest lead for Louisville, 5. Dawes leads the way with 11. Only player in our game at the double digits. Late in the shot clock, Sims misses. Williamson runs it down.
Another very good defensive series by the Louisville Cardinals.
Traveling violation as Johnson tried to make his move. Despite that turnover, Cards have been strong. They've won 6 of the last 8 games, and that win against Duke stopped the 2-game losing streak.
Tom, if you're Louisville, I think one of the things you have to do is be patient. You know you're struggling offensively, but you don't want to get in a big hurry, and I think that's what David Johnson did there. He's so worried about getting to the attack.
Nick Honor.
See, now Sims, he's a good passer and everything, but he should not have given that ball up. He needs to shoot that.
One of their last 11 for the Tigers. Jones dropped it off. Withers jammed it, and Sims hit the floor.
Ball's going to go inside to Sims. He turns, and he's got a smaller man on him. That's Samuel Williamson. He's really got to take that ball up to the basket. Now he passes it out to Nick Honor. Honor misses the three, but I think that's the kind of a shot that Sims has to take. What did Brad Brownell say? That this guy is an all-ACC player, and he's got to play like one.
Hunter Tyson picked up that foul for the Tigers. He's got 3. So Withers finished off the play and gives Louisville the 1-point lead. 8 minutes, 40 seconds to go in regulation. Sims, Tyson, 3. Hunter Tyson for the Tigers. Back in front by 2.
That's a big basket in it. Amir Sims' teammates have to support him when he gets him the ball in a spot like that. It's important that they make the shots.
Back the other way, the Cardinals have the answer.
David Johnson with a little more patience that time. He didn't get going too quickly. And again, he can score inside.
So Johnson 2 of 7 from the floor now with 4 points. Tyson the fake. The drive and the jumper. Hunter Tyson to double digits. He's got 10.
Williamson obviously trying to run him off the line, and Tyson making him pay for it.
8th time this season to double digits for Hunter Tyson. Ball out of bounds, and it belongs to the Tigers. Hunter Tyson getting in the act. Sims able to find him, and he lines up the 3. And then more of an individual effort on the baseline for Hunter Tyson, and the Tigers lead it by 2. Nighttime in the beautiful state of South Carolina. Clemson, South Carolina, the home of the Tigers. Tom Wormy, Dan Bonner, our outstanding production crew with you. And here's how it looks, Dan, when you break it down to this point in the second half.
Obviously not a lot of offense so far. Both of these teams really doing a super job on the defensive end of the court.
Both teams well below their season averages when it comes to field goal percentage. In fact, the Cardinals are one of the better shooting teams in the league. 47% for the body of work and 5th in the conference, but not tonight.
Well, Amir Sims only has 2 points after the first 7 minutes of the game, but he's got 9 points. He's got 6 rebounds. He's also got 4 assists.
Hunter Tyson has come on strong in the second half. 10 total points and 4 of 7 from the floor. Whistle against the Tigers.
That's now 10 turnovers for Clemson. It's just one of those plays. These dribble handoffs are really tough. If you're the guy making the handoff, you have to get stopped. If you keep your momentum going forward, you're going to get a foul called every time.
So that one was on Hemingway. Carly Jones has gone over 20 points in 4 of the last 6 games, but he and his teammates struggling to put points up in the second half. This guy has not struggled to score, except that shot misses. Sims on the weak side. Looks like Minlin was also there. Out of bounds to Clemson. Dawes and Tyson in double digit scoring. And Louisville does not have a player to get to double digits yet. Trap wasting no time. Easy board for Jalen Withers, the redshirt freshman from just down the road in Charlotte, North Carolina. Jones stepping back. Might get another chance in this possession. Trailing by 2.
It's 11 offensive rebounds now for Louisville.
Blocked at the rim. Tyson was there as Withers tried to get up on the rim and score, and Tyson denied him. Hunter Tyson, 3 ball. Not this time from the corner pocket, and the long outlet to Johnson. Hesitation ran into Hemingway. Offensive foul, David Johnson.
Well, again, David Johnson's going just a little too fast right there. Hemingway does a really nice job. He's in great position. And that's like a 1-on-3 break right there. Johnson's got to pull that ball back. I know Louisville wants to get out and go a little bit.
And Johnson, Dan, who averages 13 points per game, second best on the team. 4 points tonight for Johnson, and he's misfired on his 2 3-point attempts.
Obviously, if you're going to stop Louisville, you've got to control those guards, and Clemson has done a nice job of that tonight.
Sims was fighting on the offensive glass after the miss from Hemingway. Foul against the Cards. Jones. And the second on Jones.
Well, Sims now going to get a chance to go to the line, and he's a very good free throw shooter.
First trip to the line tonight, Dan. Amir Sims. What a wonderful career in a Clemson uniform for this young man.
He is so unselfish, and we've seen a couple of times tonight, Tom, maybe a little bit too unselfish. When he gets the ball close to the basket, he's really, really good at kicking it out.
11 points, 7 boards, 4 assists. Amir Sims to double digits for the 7th time this season. And the Tigers lead it by 4. Short for Jones. Sims leading the break. Hemingway on the wing, and he'll wait for reinforcements.
Dawes has done an outstanding job with Jones, but he's had help from his teammates, and that time Amir Sims really came out on the screen very effectively, prevented Jones from getting a good look.
Sims tried a 3, and it came up empty.
You know, there's nothing wrong with the looks that he's getting from out there. But when a guy comes in conference play shooting 20% from the three-point arc, maybe there's a reason that he's so wide open. I mean, I think if you're Louisville, you'd much rather have him shooting out there than operating in the lane.
Now, he did make 1 tonight, but he's missed his other 3 chances from three-point distance. 22 feet 1 3/4 inches away for the second year. In line with the international distance at the collegiate level. Inside of 5 minutes to go in regulation. Stop and start Johnson. Choppy drive to the rim from Davis, but he created some contact. So Drake Davis will step to the free throw line.
Well, Davis is big and strong, and he's very aggressive. And one of the things that he likes to do when he catches the ball, one of his first looks is to drive, and he saw Hemingway, and he thought, okay, Hemingway can't guard me out here.
Hunter Tyson ends up with the basketball as Davis, 73% from the line on the season, cannot convert for the freshman from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Louisville only 5 of 12 from the free throw line.
Little head fake works. Trap. 4 points for Clyde. Trap.
Tom, we were talking about who was going to get an offensive spurt, and in this game, maybe that's the spurt.
It's a 6-point lead for the Tigers after the bucket from Trap. 4:20 to go in regulation from Littlejohn. Dan Bonner, the Tigers have gone on a 6-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 36 seconds, and this matches the largest lead of the game for Clemson. Trying to defeat a ranked Louisville team on their home court here at Littlejohn Coliseum for the 2nd straight year.
And it has been a mighty defensive struggle so far. Let's see, Clemson's had this little offensive spurt. Let's see if Louisville can match him. Clemson has done a nice job so far keeping Carlik Jones in check, but this is the kind of this is the time of a game and the kind of game where you expect a guy like Carlik Jones to assert himself.
Cards have scored just 15 points in this half, 6 of 21 from the floor, and they've missed their last 5 shots over the last 4 minutes of play. Trying to work the interior. And that'll fall over the front rim. Drake Davis, he's just determined, Dan, when he gets that ball inside.
Well, that's really a matchup that they like. That time he was posted up against Hemingway. And if Davis is going to get that close to the basket, Hemingway is going to have a tough time.
So that stops the 6-0 run for the Tigers and closes the gap to 4. Dawes trying to drive it, got it caught in the air, and Sims is going to bail him out. Good hands from Sims to grab that basketball.
I don't know how Sims caught that ball. You know, when you're a big guy inside, you got to be looking for the ball, and Sims was.
13 points for Sims. Long rebound into the corner and trap, and he got pushed. That was Sam Williamson. So we're going right down to the wire. Tigers and Cards. Who wants it more? Right now, it looks like Sims with that last play under the bucket for 2. Who's going to get it as we roll down the stretch in Clemson, South Carolina? Amir Sims for the Tigers. 13 points coming on strong in the second half.
He scored 7 points early, and here in the second half, he's been able to get 6. He made a 3 in the first half, but he's done a great job rebounding the ball, passing the ball. Clemson offense has been a little bit smoother when they've been able to work through him. You see 8 rebounds, 4 assists.
Closing in on his second double-double of the season for Amir Sims. His teammate Clyde Trapp at the free throw line. And up by 6. 3:25 on the game clock.
Obviously, these free throw opportunities are huge in a game like this.
Five points, 6 boards in the game for Trapp. From up on top of the square. 1 of 2. By the way, the rebounding battle is even, Dan. 36 all. As Jones trying to dribble his way to the rim and distribute.
That's one of the things Jones does very well. He gets the ball in there, and as we said, he creates opportunities for his teammates, but he also gets himself to the free throw line, where he is an outstanding free throw shooter.
Second foul on Dawes. Carlik Jones is 4th in the conference in free throw shooting. As Newman comes out, Hemingway is in 83% in.
Well, but interestingly enough, this is his first time to the free throw line tonight. And as you said, he's money from the line.
He's now got 8 points.
Well, I think you're going to see him being much more aggressive with the basketball down the stretch.
And now he's got 9, Dan. He's working on a string of 35 games in a row, double-figure scoring, and you go back to his days at Radford University as well. And in his career, he scored in double figures 95 times. Double figures every game he's played in this season.
If you're the Tigers, you want to move the ball. You don't want to stand.
Trap on the handle. Needs some help. Dawes is the safety valve, and he connects. Alamir Dawes, Dan.
Boy, that is a huge shot. Clemson has struggled shooting the 3 all game long, but Dawes did a nice job stepping into that one.
4 of 8 on threes for Dawes. 11 points in the second half for Dawes. Louisville gets another chance, knocked away from Withers, but there is a whistle underneath.
Trapp does a great job causing the defense to collapse. They just lose Dawes. And Amir Sims running from side to side in the lane, doing a great defensive job until he finally gets called for the foul.
Withers at the line. Krasinski joins the fray. Williamson leaves.
We talked about Slazinski and how he brings some energy to the game. He's a tough guy, and that's what Louisville is looking for right now.
Seven points for Withers. 3 of 5 from the line.
Louisville now going to apply some pressure.
Hemingway double.
This is the versatility of Sims.
Put those between the legs dribbles to bring that ball up confidently from
Well,
Sims.
you get your big guy, you get your center, dribble the ball up the court against the press. That helps.
So we told you Dawes has made 4 threes, just 1 of 7 of 3-point chances at Florida State on Saturday, and a miscommunication in that pass behind Dawes and out of bounds. Turnover number 11 for Coach Brownell's team. 11th year for Brad Brownell. Most wins in school history. 194. He's 3-4 as a head coach against Louisville.
And now with Louisville over on offense, Samuel Williamson comes back in the game. Still plenty of time.
It's a mid-range jumper that'll fall.
And that's Carly Jones getting himself into the lane and making things happen.
And into double digits, Dan, with 11 points. Let's update you on that string. That's now 36 games in a row, double-figure scoring, Carly Jones. So a bit of a slow start tonight, but he's gotten to 11 points, and here's his last bucket to close the gap to 4.
It's been really a struggle for Jones because Clemson has done such a nice job defensively against him, but he gets in there, he can take a little bit of a bang, and he still is able to be make a nice on-balance shot attempt.
Really does it all. A couple of double-doubles this season. Big game against Kentucky at home with 20 points. Plays a lot of minutes. He's closing in on 2,000 career points, Dan. He's over 500 career assists. There's not a whole lot that he has not done. We showed you earlier in our broadcast him hitting a game-winning shot as a freshman at Radford in the Big South Championship game against Liberty. I mean, he's even over 400 rebounds playing at Radford.
I think he's going to be one of the key players down the stretch here. Talked about his rebounding, obviously a very good rebounder. I think one of the keys is going to be if he can get himself to the free throw line. But Clemson, after jumping out to that lead, Louisville's really clamped down defensively.
Jones has 5 rebounds, Dan, to go along with his 11 points. He is the leading scorer for the Cards in this game. That is Sims. And a chance at an old school 3-point play for the senior.
And that's why Brad Brownell called that timeout, so you could set it up, you could get the ball into Sims. And again, as we've seen all day long, when Sims gets the ball in the middle, he can make a move or he can pass it out. And again, Louisville reluctant to drop down in on him because of his passing ability. Everybody runs away. They're headed back to their men, but that's a mistake that time. Sims, really nice work on the interior.
So Withers got the foul. 2 for 2 from the line, and now 3 for 3 for Sims. And 16 points. And that figure leads all scorers, Amir Sims. Also has 8 rebounds, closing in on a double-double for Amir Sims. Davis had to get rid of it to Johnson. One dribble, steps behind the line and misses. The tap by Withers. Sims above everyone for the rebound, and that's number 9.
Tom, you know why David Johnson had to take that one dribble? Because Amir Sims was out on him, and then Amir Sims goes down inside and gets the rebound.
And now the final 55 seconds. Tigers trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Trying to do it against the number 25 team in the nation. Dawes was driving, knocked away. This is Williamson from the wing, and he hits it. And an immediate timeout taken by Louisville and Chris Mack.
We've talked about Clemson and their activity on defense, and one of their keys has been Amir Sims. Sims comes running out against Johnson, makes Johnson back up, and then Sims just goes right to the basket and gets the rebound. So not only does he pressure the shot, but he runs back inside and gets the rebound. We've seen the big guy score inside. We've seen him make a three. We've seen him rebound. We've seen him pass the ball very effectively. Heck, we've even seen him bring the ball up against the pressure. So Amir Sims having an all-ACC player kind of game today.
Cards took the timeout. They're down to 1. Clemson has 2 timeouts. Quick check on the headlines in the ACC with just under 37 seconds to go. Justin Champagny continues his fantastic season, leading the league in scoring and rebounding, for that matter, for the Pitt Panthers. Tyrese Radford suspended, was second on the team in scoring. They did get a victory tonight, though. And the Tar Heels have won 6 of their last 7. They're the next opponent as far as going on the road. Their next game is here against the Clemson Tigers. And again, Virginia Tech went on the road and beat Notre Dame. So the lead is 5 for Clemson after trailing by 1 at halftime. Clemson would do what no team has done this season. Come from behind, trailing Louisville at the half, and defeat the Cards. Now, granted, Dan, the lead was just 1. But still, it was the job of the Tigers to have to come from behind in the second half, and they've maintained this 5 or 6 point lead for a few minutes here.
Well, now they're going to have to be able to handle some pressure.
We saw Sims do it skillfully a moment ago, and he does it again. It's going to be a foul on Johnson. I like it.
Well, not only is this your center bringing him up, but you notice that Louisville doesn't want to foul him because he's such a good free throw shooter. So he can handle the ball, and he can also shoot free throws. Now, Dawes is a 77% free throw shooter.
First trip to the line for Dawes on the evening. And now 15 points. And that includes 4 made threes after a struggle from beyond the arc in the most recent game at Florida State. Despite the miss, 12 points in the second half for Dawes. And now, Dan, we've got just 21 seconds to go.
Needs 3.
Slozinski can't get it away. Can Jones? He does. Too strong to trap. And he got grabbed in the backcourt. So with 12.8 seconds to go, Dan, the Tigers are at the free throw line and have a 6-point lead. A Hardy star to watch tonight did not disappoint. Although there were times when he could have been frustrated, he did not let the lack of production get to him. He's our Hardy star to watch, Amir Sims.
And he didn't really try to force anything. There were a couple times that, Tom, I commented I thought he should have shot the ball instead of pass it, but you know, he just let the game come to him. He was just outstanding. He scored those 7 points early. Then he went a long time without scoring, and yet here he showed you he's got 16. He's got 9 rebounds. He's handled the ball. He's been everything Brad Brownell could have hoped.
Made all of his free throws as well as Trapp missed the second. Williamson. Time running out on Louisville. Try a 3 and get it. And that was Nickelberry with 2.5 seconds on the clock. So the Cardinals will use their final timeout very late in this second half. So Louisville, again, we told you this game was supposed to be in early March. They moved it up. Louisville took the game. They were supposed to play Saturday against Boston College, which was also supposed to be the Clemson opponent tonight. That game's been postponed, so they look forward to a home game against Georgia Tech and then traveling to the Carrier Dome. Clemson will go to Duke. It's the next game on the schedule, and then a couple of home games. North Carolina, we told you the Tar Heels have won 6 of their last 7 with their win yesterday against Pitt, and then Syracuse, which defeated Virginia Tech on Saturday but lost on Monday to Virginia. So it's getting interesting, Dan, as we go down toward the latter portion of this schedule.
Tom, it is interesting, and one of the things, these teams, I think, are very well balanced. I think it's going to be really hard for a team to get on a big run in conference play because you just have such a hard time every night out.
And the clock will run out, and the Tigers win it 54-50. Brad Brownell and the Tigers get the win at home behind 16 points from Amir Sims, 15 from Dawes, 10 from Tyson, and they snapped the 3-game losing streak for the Tigers.
Well, they snapped the 3-game losing streak, and they did it with on the defensive end. They did not shoot the ball well tonight, but they made just enough shots to win because their defense was outstanding.
They shot just 20% from beyond the arc, but it's good enough tonight. They made 7 of them, and they improved to 6-1 at home and 3-1 in conference play on their home floor with the victory 54-50 against the visiting Cardinals. You want to join us next Wednesday, ACC Men's Hoops, Pitt and Virginia Tech, 7 o'clock. Check the times for your regional sports networks. We hope you enjoyed tonight's game here from Clemson. For Dan Bonner and our outstanding production crew, I'm Tom Werby. So long from Littlejohn Coliseum.